Welcome to another episode of the Metal Roundup. It's a little different in my room. I'll explain that in a moment here, but it's been a couple of weeks since we last got together, so we're going to chat about some metal news that is not Sleep Token. Mostly, I'm sure. We'll get to that. To explain what, if you're a regular viewer of this is not my studio. I have no internet in my area, so I've had to quickly, in order to not delay Metal Burb and Drew Fortune, they are divas. I had to do this for them. I'm in my brother's place, and his girlfriend's mother is next door, and they're very kindly allowing me to do this. Oh, because it's late at night, guys. It's 20 past 11 in the UK. What are we doing?
We're so committed to this.
Does your brother's, did you say girlfriend's mother, right?
Correct.
Is she aware of like the channel and stuff like that? Is it, or just like,
I don't
my
know.
brother needs to show up for a bit to just do something? Like, I mean, I need to like know what the conversations are in that room right now.
I presume they do. Otherwise, they might not have been so
My
accepted.
brother needs to film YouTube videos. Do you mind if he comes over?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, yeah, no. Respect to Steve. Like, I know he's come across as very calm with that intro, but like, there's a lot that's gone on behind the scenes to make this episode a thing. So
There is, yes.
yeah, there's been a lot going on. So do we dance around this? I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to mention any names at all here. Do we dance around the possibility of what might happen?
Well, we
No,
already.
well, we don't know what might happen. All we can say is the reason I went to these lengths is because there was due to be a special guest for this episode who might not be able to make it in the end anyway, but that's why I made sure I got across town. It wasn't just for Drew and Burb, as much as I love them.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yes. So I don't think they're going to show up, unfortunately. I think they're very busy, and we'll grab them another time if that ends up happening.
Yeah. So this
That's
could be
okay.
like the greatest podcast crashing moment of all time, and you'll probably already know by the title and thumbnail of this video if it happens. So yeah.
But we don't know what's going to happen right now.
Yeah, we don't.
This is
Knock
great.
on wood,
I love
though.
this. Yes.
But either way, Drew and Burb, how are you? What's been going on in your music life recently? Drew, perhaps start with yourself.
Oh, bold move asking me when I've been on the back of checking out the most unhinged shit of all time recently. I've just been enjoying TOKN. I'm just going to go ahead and just shout them out straight
It's
away.
already talking Sleep Token. We can't do this.
No, Steve. Not Sleep Token.
I know.
TOKN. TOKN. Nah, I'm not going to go too deep into that because people just hate us at this point for everything Sleep Token related. But yeah, I've been checking out. I checked out the Bleed From Within album today. I've checked out the Thornhill album. I know you're probably a little bit behind with stuff, Steve. With
Yeah,
albums,
I'm
so
pretty
we
flat
won't-
out with those stuff.
We don't need to delve too deep into those, but yeah, just been chilling, man. Working away, checking out as much as I can of new releases and stuff. But you know yourself, it never ends. So yeah,
Sure.
that's been me really.
Nice. Burb, by yourself.
Yeah, kind of the same, except for this token stuff. But I know exactly what it is.
Have you seen it? I didn't. Look
I
at
saw
it
I saw 5 seconds. And I'm like, I'm good.
I've seen the thumbnail and I'm like, I'm good. But then now everyone's referencing it in my Discord server,
Just
and I
get
feel like
on
I'm
it,
outside.
lads.
the intro.
Yeah, I'm getting
Look,
some
I
references
mean-
too, but like if there's a try not to laugh challenge, if I do another one of those, I'll queue it up. Like I did one, what was it, like a month ago, and someone submitted Creed, but like without the music. And so I'm just watching the music video, and I put that on my Instagram, like, oh, this might be kind of funny. It's like the off kind of humor content on my Instagram. It's at like 6.3 million views now.
Oh my god, I seen it was like 3 million. But
It's insane. I have
doubled
people
since
that like didn't even know that I was doing this. Like people
Yeah.
from my past, like just kind of like, whoa, it's kind of weird to see you just like pop up on my feed. I'm like, yeah, this is something I've been doing.
Yeah, no, the short form content loves that kind of shit for sure.
Yeah, so
great.
yeah, dude, clip it, post on socials. Who knows? You might get 6 million views or that.
Yeah, for sure. No, but I'm actually like genuinely, I'm not gonna. This is the last I'll speak of it. I'm sorry, Steve is judging me here. But I'm genuinely more excited. More excited is crazy. I'm as excited for the covers of the next Sleep Token song by TOKN than I am of the actual next Sleep Token song. Like
Stop.
equal levels of excited. Like
Oh.
equal levels of excited, lads. It's so good. It's
We
like, I
can't
haven't
take your
cackled-
opinions serious
I
anymore.
I haven't cackled, but you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, to be fair.
So irrelevant opinion, all right. But it's so good. Like obviously Sleep Token is going to be my more serious thing, and this is just something that I can just lol at because it was the most I've laughed in a while because it was just so relatable. It was like this guy either absolutely hates Sleep Token or he's the biggest super fan in the world, but either way he's nailed the details of it. But yeah, anyway, let's not keep harping on because
Let's move away.
Just one more. The one funny Sleep Token thing was the commoning. Remember that one?
yeah, that was
That
the
was
first kind of
good.
like Sleep Token meme thing I'd seen. Yeah, but there wasn't really much to that. I mean, that was just like a fat version of one of the little models that they use for the characters that they use.
But they were just like
for-
highlighting the word anytime he said like "come" or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking start to it. Not how I imagine this podcast starting, considering everything that's just happened. But I think we needed an icebreaker.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on from Sleep Token. People are tired. Well, people aren't tired of Sleep Token, but
Yeah.
we need to talk about other bands because we're the metal
Yeah.
roundup, not the Sleep Token roundup.
For sure. Agree. So Sleep Token?
Steve?
Sorry. Okay.
Steve, what's going on with you, man?
Well, I've been to a couple of good gigs recently. I want to see Bloodywood. I don't know if I've talked about that on this podcast.
No, you
It's an
haven't.
Indian metal band.
Yeah.
They were amazing live, but I don't. It's been a while since I've seen a gig that has had that kind of energy that the entire room is wrapped around. If you get the chance, you have to. You don't have to know the songs, just the whole thing, the tempo of it, the groove, the energy that they put out on the stage is actually quite phenomenal. That was a real moment I will remember forever. That was amazing. Also saw Bill Murray live recently, which as a big Bill Murray fan and having enjoyed them on the Sleep Token tour, it was great to see them headline. They did a phenomenal job as I expected.
Who was playing on that tour with Bill Murray?
It was South Arcade. They're a UK band that supported them on that one. So that was good. There was another one I did recently. I saw Until I Wake. They supported Catch Your Breath. And that was good. A very polished metalcore lineup overall. So yeah, busy with gigs. A couple of interesting interviews as well along the way. Got to interview Less Than Jake, which is not
they're
metal.
sweet. I like them.
But I've been a big fan of them since I was a teenager. So it's kind of a surreal moment. Like you start uploading videos to YouTube and then suddenly you're interviewing people that you've been a big fan of for a couple of decades.
You were a big ska fan, right?
Yeah, I was in a ska band when I was in my
right.
early 20s. So yes, it's metal's niche, but I think ska is even more so. Not that many people are into that.
I don't
but
actually
love
even know
it.
what ska is. Is that crazy?
Drew!
I always hear people talking about it, but I don't know what the fuck it is.
Dude, sorry, Burb. Drew, ska is the heaviest genre in the world. Like, think Humanity's Last Breath, but heavier.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is this like a ploy to get me to listen to it right now? Is this what's going on?
No. I think you'll really love it.
I'm
Am I being baited here? I don't even know. I'm not.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
crazy,
know.
man. It's crazy.
Ska is like pop punk. Well, depends on the style of ska, but it's fast beat, like punk basically, but with upbeat stroke guitars and trumpets and trombones and saxophones.
Okay.
Like Real Big Fish.
Okay.
You know
I
them?
definitely know. Like, I definitely would have heard ska music before. I'd imagine. I just don't know what it is. Like, I wouldn't be able to be like
Mighty
that
Mighty
is-
Boss Tones.
I feel like ska is somewhat popular in Ireland. Maybe like it's got some like I don't know. These bands aren't really from Ireland, but Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys have some. Wait, they're not ska.
They're not
though.
ska.
They're not ska. My bad. I know, like Mad Caddies. I fucking love them.
Is it
Yeah,
like
Big Fish.
when the Sleep Token, like, sorry, I can't help it, but the reggaeton like thing was when that conversation was happening about like, oh my god, it's reggaeton, and everyone was like, it's not reggaeton, it's this, and then I actually just did a bit of digging because like, there's so many opinions. Isn't ska like somewhere in the conversation with reggae? Isn't it like some off?
Not
I'd
reggaeton.
seen
It's not
ska-
Latin.
I'd seen ska being talked
It's
about.
reggae. It's like reggae and punk. And so reggaeton, that could be a thing, but reggaeton's very dancey.
I went into some like nerdy Reddit post and it was like so many derivatives of different things, and like I'm pretty sure ska was in there. Now I don't think it was like necessarily tied to it, but it was like broken down.
Reggae, but fast. That's ska.
Okay.
Maybe that's the closest description.
Okay. Right. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't get like eaten alive for not knowing what it was there because I was worried. But I was like, I'm just gonna say it. Yeah.
Do we still have Burb? He's
Yeah.
kind of
I'm here. What's up?
I see him.
Okay.
I see him. Yeah, we're just-
How's it going?
I was like, Burp just passed away.
Am I dead?
No,
Like-
is Burp still with us?
I don't know. I'm breathing. I'm fine. What's going on?
I didn't know if it was the internet or you were just an absolute
Yeah.
statue, just frozen by Scott. But yes. In other news, the actual big metal news, Linkin Park have had to downgrade one of their venues. One of the big arenas they were doing has been downgraded, which is a bit of a shock because it's one of the biggest bands of last year with their big album. They've done some huge stadium shows across the world, and then in LA, it looks like they've downgraded that. And I saw the article about it. They were citing potentially it's to do with the economy and people not being able to afford tickets because Beyonce's also struggled with some ticket sales. But then, I know we said we would talk about this band, but Sleep Token have sold out their entire arena tour of the States without trouble. So I'm not really sure what's going on there.
That could play a little bit of a factor, though, but that's not the main reason. That seems like a little bit of a crutch there. I think people also, there's backlash to Emily, even when I still get comments about people hating on Emily to this day.
Really?
Oh yeah, my Linkin Park reactions. They still really don't like the Scientology stuff and people missing Chester. So there's that. But it's also, maybe they just were, they're the biggest rock band in that they kind of shot more than that they or chewed more that they can handle.
Yeah. Bit off more than you can chew.
That's the expression. I knew I said it wrong.
I was like, you'll listen to this back and know, and I was like, I'm just gonna help you. Because I help you guys out, unlike when I say things wrong, lads. What was it that I said wrong?
I say so many things wrong. I'm surprised you're taking so much backlash, Drew. I'm just fine by me.
Yeah. No, backlash isn't really the word. It was just people picking fun. But yeah. But yeah, I think the like Burb said, it is a bit of a crutch. Come on. There is other bands like Steve mentioned that are selling out arenas and shit like that. It could also be people have now had time. There was obviously a lot of hype around Linkin Park coming back. What's their album? What's the first single going to sound like? This first single was really good, and then what's the next few singles going to sound like? They were also received quite well. That was my way of saying I didn't like the next singles as much as the first one. They weren't received quite well. But and then obviously the album dropped and there's the hype around the album. But it maybe feels like people have now had time to kind of get familiar with the new era of Linkin Park, and they are now not the band that would have been selling out those 60,000 cap arenas. Is it 60,000? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Dozens of thousands, certainly.
Okay, but
which might be at least 12,000.
That's what it feels like to me, because I mean I'm kind of that guy, because I was so invested in the rollout of the album, but now I just don't really care about it. I haven't listened to it again. The Emptiness Machine, I haven't gone back to in a while, but if I am going to go back to it, I would listen to that.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe that's what we're seeing now, is kind of not as if the band's fallen off, let's be real here, but maybe it is one of these things that was booked when they were in the height of the comeback. I don't know when it was booked, but that's my take, I guess.
I think you're probably right. I think there's a difference between a band that has many multiples of thousands of fans who are diehard and craving new music from them, and a band like Linkin Park who absolutely have diehard fans, but more of the fans right now are kind of novel curiosity, nostalgia thing, which makes seeing them live more of an option than a need of something that's urgent and new and kind of vibrant. I think that might be some of the factor.
The Metal Roundup are officially on Patreon, and we are launching with 2 tiers for you guys to avail of. Tier 1, the guest list. With the guest list, you get early access to all of the episodes of the Metal Roundup, plus access to our exclusive Discord. But if that is not enough for you, we have a tier 2. Don't worry, we have you covered. The Backstage Pass. With the Backstage Pass, you get access to all of the things that you get access to in tier 1, but of course there's more. Not only do you get early access to all the episodes and access to our Discord, you also get a shout out at the end of all our episodes. Oh, but we want more. Oh, you're getting more, all right? Tier 2, baby. You get everything you get in tier 1, plus the shout out, plus a bonus episode filmed at the end of every single main episode just for you on tier 2. God damn. Oh, there couldn't possibly be more. There's no way. There is. Not only do you get all of these beautiful perks with tier 2, the Backstage Pass, you also get access to an exclusive Discord channel where you can message us directly and give us questions and topics for the bonus episodes. So you guys are essentially an additional member of the podcast. If you like the sound of that, the link for the official The Metal Roundup Patreon page will be in the description, lads. Any support will be much appreciated. We love you. Thank you so much. Now enjoy the episode.
But the hype did die down quite a bit. Like when, even for me personally, I have not gone back to that album. Even though I liked it a lot when I first heard it. And then The Emptiness Machine, I love that song, but it's been a minute since I've heard that. And then their new single that they dropped this year, let's be real, like that's mid.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that one.
Like I gave it a 7. I'm like, I look back at it, I'm like, I'm being nice. That could have been like maybe a 5.9.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
I think it's so, for Linkin Park's talent, it's a very average, forgettable song.
Yeah.
I would agree that it is forgettable, but I get, well, my version of your 7, I guess, is a solid, but I still think is a more, actually 7's still pretty
solid would be 7 for me.
Right. But didn't you give it a 7?
Or like maybe below 7, so 6 actually. 6.
Oh, okay.
7.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was grand. I thought it was a well put together song, but yeah, I suppose it felt a little filler. It didn't feel like, why is that an additional, worthy of its own moment song? But
it felt like this was, like, to me, I viewed it as like, this is the equivalent of The Emptiness Machine for the full album, because this is the first single they're dropping off of the extended version. So I was like, this is like such a step down from the hype that The Emptiness Machine built. Obviously, it's never going to be the same thing because they've already come back, but like from a music standpoint strictly, the song was nowhere near The Emptiness Machine, in my opinion. Of course, opinions may differ, but even just from what I've seen, there wasn't really any buzz around it when it dropped. Like, even just my own little small community, I didn't really see much people. It was kind of like, okay, moving on, which is crazy for a band like Linkin Park. So maybe that's just all tied into it. Maybe I don't know when the dates would have been decided on, but maybe it was like at the peak, like 50 million monthly listeners were coming back. There's hype around Emily Armstrong. Maybe it's like, let's book this 60,000, and then it's kind of like, okay, that hype is maybe died down. I don't know. I'm speculating here.
You know what could be a thing is maybe the lack of heaviness with the new single, or maybe some of Linkin Park's music, because I feel like lately a lot of modern music, and we can look at Sleep Token, it just like metal is kind of in, and people are kind of craving it. And I feel like Linkin Park is a little bit too, I don't know, just like it was too soft rock, and maybe it's not exciting listeners. It definitely didn't excite me.
I would agree on that from our perspective, and people that like the heavier end of rock. And also, like, Linkin Park used to be a lot heavier than they are now. That's been a trend for a while. But like they went more heavy than the last couple of albums previous, I think. But most people, the widespread audience for music, are not into heavy rock. So actually, I think their lighter blend of things would appeal to a whole bunch of people. I still don't think that would be necessarily it. And I don't think that single release would have people going like, "Oh, it's not really that heavy, so I'm going to not buy the tickets anymore." I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, kind of like more the hype. Like, I think if it was like a heavier single, it probably would have picked a little bit more traction or something. Like, we can even look at Breaking Benjamin, another big rock band, and that latest single had like a breakdown and grooves. Like, I don't know. I just feel like modern music right now is leaning towards heavy, and that new Linkin Park song was just like a chill rock song that didn't really have that great of a hook. It was just, again, kind of forgettable.
Yeah. It's a tough one because there is like a massive gaping hole in the band with Chester not being there. So it's always gonna like the comeback was always gonna be the peak of this era of the band. Like I don't, without sounding too dramatic, but it, like, I don't think this era of Linkin Park is gonna reach the level of the comeback ever again. Like, I think that was the peak of the modern era of Linkin Park, unless they pull out some fucking insane like album down the line. But I just think it's kind of like a new band, which is kind of what I had thought from the start. It was like, you can look at this two ways. Is this going to be, am I looking at this from the perspective of like the old version of me that loves like Linkin Park with Chester, or like, I'm not going to compare this, I'm not going to try and compare the two because it's a completely different thing now for the most part, I guess. But yeah,
it's that impossible conundrum. It is a new band, basically, because you replace a singer like that with an iconic voice, with a very different voice. It has a very different feel, more than if you just swapped out a guitarist. But then the guitar chords, the chord progressions, the sound does sound a lot like Linkin Park. It's kind of also impossible to not have that context in there. So it's an impossible task of trying to appreciate it as a new band, whilst it's also got all of that history to it. It's like
Yeah.
you kind of. I think what they managed to do with the From Zero album is as best a win as you could possibly hope for overall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just to clarify, I think I ranked that album in like my number 7 slot for the year, which was like,
That's high.
yeah,
Yep.
it was a pretty high ranking. Now, would I keep it there in hindsight? Maybe. I mean, it's not top 5 still, but I didn't think it was the worst album in the world, especially with the circumstances. It was like, how are you going to please this many people? So
yeah, and don't get me wrong, the album was in my top 10 too. Also, we should be nice about Linkin Park because maybe one day we're going to have Mike Shinoda on the podcast. So.
We're not being mean at any way.
No, for sure. No, but I think this is the conversation that people want to hear, not just
I know, I'm just teasing.
This is the best thing in the world, you know?
Actually, on that, this is a fun little anecdote moment. Fantano had an interview with Mike Shinoda on his channel. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll check that out because he's quite a critical individual. And I didn't watch the whole interview, but the start was quite amazing because Mike Shinoda went, I'm kind of surprised that you wanted this interview because like you've been really critical about our releases. And Fantano went, oh, I was surprised I thought you wanted this interview. Someone from your team reached out and told me that you wanted this. He's like, someone from some other team said that so neither of them asked for it.
Oh my God.
They ended up having this interview being like, all right, well, we're here now, so let's chat.
Oh my God. That's the worst possible start to an interview I could ever imagine.
Yeah,
like,
they both
didn't
want
don't really want to be here. How do we go from here, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it was a good, it's a good thing though. You can't just be having discussions with people that you're like super into. It creates an interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, from a viewing perspective, it's fucking brilliant. But can you imagine sitting here and just all of us just like, so, any of you want to be here right now? And we're all like, no. You know, it just changes the dynamic for the people talking.
When I was more active with my own podcast, I realized I like interviewing people who actually engage with the channel. And there was like the past couple times where they were kind of set up to interview for exposure, but they didn't really know the channel or anything. It just felt like very one-sided, not very good conversation, just more interview.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't really that fun. And I know people don't really watch my channel for interviews, so that's why I kind of slowed down on it a little bit. But yeah. So, and luckily with the guests that we've had, I feel like all the guests have been they love what we do too. So it's just been a great 4-way conversation too.
Yeah. That certainly helps. Yeah. It can be true because essentially, if you're interviewing someone, they are likely a stranger to you. And if you're trying to have a conversation with any stranger, there's a kind of small talk balance you need to kind of get through. You need to build rapport and then everyone relaxes and you're fine. So if they do have a familiarity with your channel or your content, then you've broken down some of that barrier already, which is, that's what's helpful there. That's when I'm chatting to people, the first thing I'm trying to do is build rapport. And I recently did an interview. I'm kind of trying to make this a really short story because I don't it's not a big thing, but I recently I interviewed Until I Wake, and it was probably one of the most challenging interviews I've done. But because they had a vocalist that left a year or so ago, and then a new vocalist come in, and they didn't seem to leave on that great terms for the band. New vocalist comes in to do touring duties with them, recorded a new album, which is the only album I had context of really about them. An album called Renovate, fucking amazing album, so very good, love it, brilliant metalcore. And then I interviewed them a few days ago, and in the week leading up to it, discovered that that new singer had left, and the old singer had come back. So I was interviewing a band, and they definitely didn't seem like they knew the channel at all. So there's no context there. But we sat down to have an interview, and I was in this unusual position where I wanted to ask a lot of questions about this new album that the singer was not involved in at all. But they're touring this album. So it behooves us to chat about that album. But anytime I'd ask a question about that, he's just there. And it felt very awkward, obviously, understandably awkward at the beginning, because he's there going, I have nothing to add to this discussion. But, hopefully everyone else can. By the end of the interview, I think I got it. Because I had some questions for him as well. I kind of went back in their back catalog, thankfully, and did that. But I've never been in that position before where you've got an interview with a full band, but not everyone is able to answer the questions about the most recent album. And it's very challenging because, again, they're strangers. So they don't necessarily know that I'm interested in the music. I'm not interested in the band drama, but I had to sort of set the scene. Like, well, you've returned after a little bit. He's like, yeah, we just love each other now. I'm like, okay.
That sounds like one of those that's like an experience thing that you kind of like over time you'll have dealt with that experience now and you'll kind of know how to maybe navigate it for the next one.
Yep.
And that's just how you, because I'd capitulate in a moment like that. I'd literally shit my pants and just stop the recording. I'd be like, I don't know how to deal with this situation because I'm not experiencing it, you know what I mean? So yeah. Sorry.
I saw it as a unique challenge. I'm like, I'm gonna win everyone over. I'm gonna and by the end of it, I think it was a lovely chat. It was worthwhile. But it is tricky. It's why it's helpful if people have some context of what we're doing.
Yeah. That is, I guess, why like anytime we do reach out to a guest, no matter how big they are, we do try and preface that it isn't an interview, so to speak. Obviously, we kind of ask them questions because we're interested, but like the whole point of the Metal Roundup was that we're not trying to be just another channel that's like bringing a band on to have a one-way conversation of like, what was this like? How has this been? It's like, we're going to be talking about all of this stuff anyway. We'd love to have you get involved, and we kind of want to like get to know the person behind the like facade or the fame or whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of our goal, I guess. So we try and not do an interview.
And Johnny from Health was saying like, oh, that's going to be spicy because you're going to say something like shitty about a band.
And, he delivered for sure.
Oh, he delivered for sure.
Yeah. Talking about pissing on people in urinals in Berlin, I was like, okay, we're in. We are so in.
That's the tame story.
Yeah, every clip I see of him in an interview has got some wild story. He's like a one-man Motley Crue thing. Did you see the one about the girl who got crowd surfed out of the crowd and she was like had diarrhea all over the crowd? These are the kind of things he comes out with. It's like,
I don't know how popular he is in Europe, but he was interviewed that's the interview with Eric Andre, I'm pretty sure, who's a huge comedian. And like, he's also like a movie star. He has a couple movies too. Like, to me, it's just crazy that we had the opportunity again to like chat with him. And this is a guy that just got interviewed by Eric Andre. Like, if you look him up, he's a huge celebrity.
Yeah, no, Johnny was a great chat for sure.
Well, we got a couple lined up in future, which we won't tease in here, but there's definitely some good guests coming up, which I'm excited about.
They could still show up in this episode. Who knows?
Unfortunately, they won't. I now know that they will not.
Fuck. Okay, right. Never mind.
But that's fine. Eventually that'll happen. I'm sure. They're very apologetic. That was a mix up there.
That's fine.
Which is grand. Now, there's another band I'd like to chat about very briefly. The Callous Daoboys. I don't have much of a handle on them. When I heard their stuff previously, it's chaotic and like too chaotic for me. Clearly very talented technically, and they're writing interesting music. And there are times when it comes together and it's gold, but I haven't been able to get into it because it seems so like chaotic for the sake of it to be artistic and unusual and odd, which I think sometimes is interesting. But then their last couple of singles I've checked out, I really dug. They've simplified things massively. I think it's great. What are your thoughts on them and their progression? Because I imagine if you're a fan of that band, you might be like, I like the chaos if that's what you're into. So I wonder what fans of them might think. Are you either of you a fan of them?
Oh yeah, that's mathcore, baby. Mathcore is all about chaos. Like that's pretty much what it's about. Like it's kind of in the DNA. Like Dillinger Escape Plan, Botch are the early bands doing that. Converge, you can even argue too, and Callous Daoboys is just kind of following steps. Even Every Time I Die could be a little bit mathcore too, and where Callous Daoboys has that southern kind of twang that Every Time I Die had. So I love all the bands that they're influenced by, and that's why I love the chaos. I'm used to it. And then a lot of these bands tend to write the more simple tracks. Dillinger also did that back in the day. Same with Every Time I Die. And so for me, some of the more simple songs, I think the one that was Trout, I believe that, I forget what the name of it is. Two-Headed Trout. I'm pretty sure that's like the more rock single. And then they also dropped a brand new one that's called, or maybe not brand new because they just dropped another one, but called Lemon. I actually found that song a little bit boring because, just because I love Callous. I love the mathcore stuff. And I don't know, to me, it just felt like, oh, okay, this just sounds like not a very exciting rock song, but in the context of the record, it's probably going to sound a lot better. But yeah, it sounds like you liked it, Drew.
Yeah, this is like we're experiencing. Hello, microphone. We are experiencing the divisive nature of the new singles already because I haven't heard much of their discography. I had heard songs previously, and then I seen them play with Tesseract in Dublin a couple, like maybe last year, which was a crazy fucking like warm up for a band like Tesseract, who are like an established like progressive like genty, very like cool. I want to say like without disrespecting the Callous Daoboys, but they're like very professional Tesseract. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, Steve, don't laugh and make it sound worse than it is. Okay, you know what
But
I'm trying
it's
to say.
true though. Like to me, that's completely true.
Callous Daoboys had like 16
goofy.
people on the stage. Fucking fucking xylophones.
You're
and
right.
Saxophones
You're right.
flying
It's not a
everywhere and shit.
slant on them. Tesseract
Yes.
are madly impressively tight and smooth. In them.
Yeah, but not even just tight. It's just they have like a professional aura to them where it's all very like serious. And then the Callous Daoboys just like might as well have been on Pink Flamingo back, if you know the reference there. Like they might as well just been like all dressed up. It was chaos. But in saying that, this is the divide we're seeing because I fucking loved Lemon. So good. It reminded me of Frank Ocean's Lost, that song, which is obviously a fucking huge song. I'd wonder if there was any sort of like reference to that song or influence. But yeah, I haven't loved all of the chaotic stuff, but the Lemon track sold me. I was like, okay, this is a band that is capable of writing music that I am very much interested in. It is more simple than their other stuff. Distracted by the Mona Lisa is again maybe not as simplified as Lemon, but it's still a little bit more accessible to someone like me. But I haven't heard much. But if their other stuff is the kind of mathy core stuff, I'm not really that interested in it, to be honest.
Yeah, same. I dug those two singles. I thought they were great. Lemon was great, and the more recent one I think was larger. I think I gave both of them a delicious. Pretty sure. Yeah, well written songs. And then they each had a couple moments of oddity, but I mean, if you were into mathcore, they would not have delivered on that aspect.
Well, a lot of these bands write those songs, so maybe like pulled more like non-mathcore fans in. So who knows? Maybe by the end of the album, if you do check it out, that you'll like the more chaotic stuff too. And also like talking about like their goofiness, even their name, the Callous Daoboys.
Yeah,
it's just a goof
so
on
annoying.
the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, like I mean that's what I was leaning into as well. Like they are intentionally a bit of a goofy, silly band, but they're obviously very talented. But yeah, I mean, I actually even said that when I checked out the newest song. As much as I didn't love it as much as Lemon, it made me more curious to check out the album because I was like, okay, they're obviously gonna probably filter in some of the older, more chaotic math stuff, but at least it won't be a full album of like mathy chaos. It's gonna have those moments to like chill out and really fucking enjoy songs. So, yeah, I'll definitely give it a spin if I get a chance.
That was good. We alluded to this earlier. But I haven't heard it yet, but I'm getting absolutely badgered in the comments to check out the Thornhill album. I want to. I will. As soon as I can. But I've enjoyed the singles. They've been great. But apparently this album is really cutting through the scene.
I think you're going to like it the most.
Is it groovy?
Yeah.
Groovy.
It's got a lot of groove.
Yeah, it's groovy.
Great.
It's one thing it is.
All right, Drew. Let's go. Since you didn't...
It's just... Oh, man. I don't fucking know. It's... Burb? Would you like to... I don't know, man.
Well, look, I'm going to start off by saying I do think it's a bit of a grower. Heroin is a little bit of a grower, but I think this album even more so for me. Like, I think it's a really, really solid record for like something that's a little bit sexy, groovy. It's got some nostalgia to it with like Deftones. To me, I feel like a lot of the grooves and riffs were starting to like all blend together a little bit for me, and I did find that the vocal effects were still pulling me out of the experience. Like it was again too much vocal effects and too much moaning and crooning. It was just like, I don't know. And I'm like, I'll be honest, like when it's a little too over the top, like trying to be like sexualized, and even in their music videos going for like this new metal look, I feel like it doesn't
feels a bit forced.
Yeah, like I could be completely wrong, but that's just how I kind of interpreted it. It just feels like a tribute to early 2000s, like, Deftones, grunge era. And it's cool that they're leaning towards like the more modern elements or modern metal elements, I mean. And it's really, again, it's a really solid record, and people loving it as much as they do, I totally understand. I think also part of the reason I'm just kind of falling out of a lot of the modern metalcore stuff. A lot of the modern metalcore stuff, I don't know about you guys, but it just hasn't been hitting quite a lot for me lately. That could be another thing too. Or modern metalcore.
That's a big umbrella.
Yeah, I know. It's like the tones that they use, like the same production people that they use. Like it's hard to explain, but like I don't know. I feel like a lot of the sounds are like similar to like the past 4 years. That like it doesn't really. sound that new and fresh to me today.
It is a far better version of Heroin.
Yep.
But it is still a version of Heroin, and that is my issue with it ultimately. I'm not even looking for like the Dark Pill Part 2. I just don't necessarily love that style. I can't even remember what my like main takeaways are. Yes, there are some songs in it that have grown on me, but they've been kind of like the singles that, like Silver Swarm. I didn't really care for Revolver, which is, I know, the one that everyone's really
I like
talking about.
Revolver a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It just isn't hitting me the same. And I even like sat down in my car and I was like, okay, sit down and listen to this. You're off camera. Just let's see. Is there something in this that? And I just felt like the album was very like kind of monotone throughout. It's like tonally very the same across the board, and a lot of the melody choices didn't really ring with me. So even when there is that kind of like step out of that like tonal bracket with some of the melody choices, they just don't click with me, which they could easily click with someone else, because I don't think they're bad like choruses or attempts to like create a melody line, but they just didn't do it for me. I kind of just sat there waiting for it to be over after a few songs. It was one of those albums which is really unfortunate, because I just feel like the biggest Thornhill hater ever, and it's annoying. And that was like partly the reason why I didn't put the video out, because I was like, I felt like I added nothing to the video. I was like, I just sat here not really that impressed by this, and I just didn't feel like there was much to be even said about. I just knew people were going to be on my back about not liking it, which just not really are dealing with. So even because I don't mind, I actually quite enjoy posting album reactions when maybe I don't necessarily love it, when I know that I had like really like valid points to back it up, but I just don't really love their new direction. And that was kind of just all there was to it. I tried so hard going into it, but it just fell a little bit flat. Great songs on it, but a lot of the non-singles just kind of were meh.
I mean, I haven't heard it, but it's fair to just not really vibe with something. Like some of this is going to be subjective preference.
Of course,
like,
and that's it. Like I've seen very few people that are on the same boat as me, which
very few.
I've seen very few. Yeah, I've seen a few people that have agreed with the way I feel about it, but they were kind of the same people that also didn't really like the Heroin direction, because Heroin does have a lot of fans. But yeah, I think my main thing was with it, just to kind of wrap up, because I don't want to like ultimately spoil the whole album for Steve or like give him this impression going into it, but I think one of the things I remember saying about it is that like I don't mind the direction change. I just think that like stylistically they're very capable of writing really fun riffs and like really, really sick groovy riffs and shit, because we've seen so much of that in the Dark Pill, and I believe in the Butterfly EP as well. I haven't heard the Butterfly EP, but I'm not saying to just recreate the Dark Pill. Like it's just, I know they're capable of writing riffs that are very fun, like we had in the Dark Pill. I don't see why their new direction couldn't include some of those riffs. It felt like a lot of the like breakdowns and shit were all very like one note. It was like just and it just got very monotone and repetitive throughout the whole album. It does like lean heavily on the vocal production and shit, and like a lot of the kind of some melodies and stuff like that. But yeah, just kind of sad that it didn't click, you know.
One thing though is that it is refreshing in this modern metal scene to have something like that, because most of it is just like, you know, very overproduced electronic focus, sometimes metalcore with big poppy choruses. That, you know, something like this is kind of cool, that has a little bit of a grungy flair. I do think a lot of the choruses for me hit, and I like Jacob's vocal delivery. Doesn't feel so cookie cutter and, you know, doing whoas like kind of chants. Like
I love whoas.
Oh man, to me, I feel like that's such a cop out sometimes. Like it can work, but like I feel like those are a cop out for like lack of a good hook. But yeah, like I think the last 3 songs are solid. When they go slow, I like it. And to be honest, when I heard it, after I finished, I'm like, this is good, but I'd rather just listen to Deftones or something.
Yeah, I think another hang up I said I was going to stop talking about it, but like the lyrical content of it as well felt very like sexualized, which again is a thing, but I guess another thing, and it's not, again, I have to keep prefacing this because people just can't see through the nuance to something, but like there is ways to like change your sound without like disregarding all of the things that you were so good at doing before, like the riffs and stuff, and like their lyrical content was so good on the Dark Pill. Like some of those songs are so emotionally driven, and this is all just like, I'm gonna fuck you in the nightclub toilet. Like that is what a lot of the songs felt like. So yeah, that was my rendition of one of their songs.
I had 2 thoughts there. Again, I haven't heard it, but like, you know, Bring Me the Horizon, I've done so many changes that kind of
Mm.
put to bed old sound entirely and don't really revisit in a lot of ways, which can be proven obviously to work quite well. I'm also reminded of Garrett Russell from Silent Planet, who said, like in a band like them, if they try and do something sexy, everyone's just like, you're not allowed to do that.
Mm.
It's like, why not? I don't know, it's something that metal bands kind of struggle to be enabled to do without people thinking it's somehow a bit cringe, perhaps.
Well, Silent Planet
Yeah.
wrote a sexy song called Antimatter, and they crushed it. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's ways to do it, and I feel like maybe Thornhill's like style's a little too on the nose of like Deftones a little bit, although it's some modern metal production. But I liked it, and I think it's a grower, and I like the fact that so many people are liking this record because it is different than most of the scene. So I do appreciate it. I didn't vibe out to it as much as others, but it sounds like Drew didn't vibe out to it at all. And Steve, I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to be the outlier and like it.
This is helpful though. You've lowered my expectations, so I could go in with an open mind.
If you ever want your expectations lowered, Steve, you know where to find me. Now, let me finish off by saying I didn't hate it. Okay, I didn't hate it. There is some fucking sick songs in there. There really is. Silver Swarm. That chorus is sick.
Yeah,
I didn't like any of the singles. Like, they were all right, but I reacted to most of the singles apart from the last one, which I just kind of gave up on. I was like, look, I'm just going to come across as a hater now because this is like 4 videos in a row where I've just not liked it. It's clearly not my thing. I'm not going to post it. And then the album was much the same. So I was just kind of like, okay, it's just clearly not for me. So I'm not just going to keep beating a dead horse, you know?
You didn't like Obsession?
That's
like the very first single that they dropped with the girl in the bathtub. And then he's all like crooning and moaning to her too.
Oh, that was good. That was a good song.
I can't really remember the ins and outs of it.
If you didn't really like the singles, it would be a lot to expect that you were going to somehow start to vibe on it.
Yeah, like they were all like similar in that nature, but there was certain songs that stood out amongst the rest. I've liked Silver Swarm, Nerve, and Revolver just because everyone said Revolver was really good. So I was like, maybe it'll grow me. But like 3 of the 11 songs were for me, I guess.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Well, one album that I'm surprisingly, I think we already referenced this in the last episode, but an album I'm surprisingly looking forward to is Ghost's new album, which I never thought I'd say, but I'm enjoying that.
It's or no, I think we talked about it on the bonus episode, so we haven't really talked about Ghost yet. But oh yeah, by the way, check out our Patreon for some bonus content.
Yes,
sir. Yeah, dude, Ghost, I am in the same boat as you where, you know, I thought they were campy, cheesy, which they are, but you know,
correct.
To me, it was just kind of lame, but I eventually kind of got over that hurdle and realized it's fun because the choruses are just stuck in my head constantly. And it's like 80s classic metal. It's like, yeah, it's campy and cheesy, but I'm loving it.
It's very well knit together. What's wild about the melodies they've come up with is they sound like they've been there forever. It's like I can't understand how these 2 latest singles have not been here for 20 years. Like, how has no one thought of that hook before? It seems so obvious now, but that's really talented songwriting.
Yeah, I agree. Drew, have you checked out any Ghosts? Let's hear it.
Why are you doing this to me this episode, lads? I'm gonna lose all my fucking people who actually like me. I'm still recovering from the Damocles situation. Now you fucking have me. No, I heard the first one. All right, I heard the first one, and it was an absolute not for me. But I haven't heard the second one, and I'll probably just wait for the album. Is where I'll leave it.
And then not put it out on YouTube because you're going to shit on it.
Because I'm going to fucking hate it again. So it's just a never fucking ending cycle. But Ghost was one of the first bands I listened to on the channel, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
If I remember correctly, yeah, because it was like, oh, there's this Mask band, and I think I was kind of in my Slipknot era, so I was like, oh, more Masks. So yeah, I mean, look, they're a different take completely to the stuff I'm listening to regularly. Like their like mix and production is so like, I guess, relatively old school compared to like a lot of the modern metal, like boom, 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 which is a little bit like jarring to get used to, especially because I'm listening to it on stream where there's like a lot of modern metal and deathcore and metalcore and all this crazy shit coming at me, and then it's like Ghosts, and I'm like, okay, Steve's internal temperature is far too high.
Yeah, camera's struggling.
Oh no, okay,
that's okay.
Yes, yeah,
we can just put up an image of Steve smiling or something.
We'll put up a picture of Steve, and then we'll
just South Park animations or something. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. Well,
Sorry, go, Bert.
sorry, I was going to talk about like Ghosts. You know, they have some band member changes and other things and lore that I'm not familiar with, but I'm excited. But one album, one band, and I don't think Steve's checked it out yet, so this could be a good time for us to talk to. But he's back.
There
But
he is.
Bleed from Within, have you guys checked out Bleed from Within's album?
No,
morning,
people
yes.
asked me to, but I've yet to really get into them because I think they are pretty expected sort of classic metalcore, which is done fine. I think it's fine. I would be very surprised if I heard it and thought it was more than solid, but I'd like to be surprised.
Yeah.
Drew,
do you like this
Steve,
one?
if your camera goes again, it'd be so much better if you just left it like black screen and we just continued the episode like that. I think that would be so fucking good. So don't stress about it.
That's rude, Drew.
I was kind of hoping that it would be, because my camera used to do that as well, and it would take like an hour for it to come back on. So I'm actually shocked that yours is back and running. So the album, I listened to it this morning, and fuck me, man, another album. Can we just talk about some fun albums, please? This album is solid. The start of it is phenomenal. The first 5 songs are really, really good. After that, it lost me. Okay, that's not a bad review. That's just an honest review.
That's fine.
That's just my opinion.
That's funny because the first 5 songs, first 5 songs are heat, and then I do like the second half of the record, but I don't know if like I was like spoiled because the first 5 songs are that good.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. But
it seems like they went a little bit more experimental and changed it up a little bit for the second half, which I appreciated.
Good.
But I was honestly, in hindsight, maybe if they like kind of spaced out the first few songs, like every second song, the album would have maybe felt better. But it was like heat, and then just like all the way down. That's how I felt about it.
It's kind of true. Have you checked out their past 2 records?
I checked out Shrine from 2022. Yeah, I haven't heard anything before that.
Okay, so my expectations maybe helped me enjoy the record a little bit more because Fracture, which came out in 2020, was sick. It's like Parkway Drive, but it's funny because I don't really care for Parkway Drive, and I know that's like a hot take to have, but I feel like they just kind of do the sound a little bit more exciting for me. And then in 2022 or 23, they dropped Shrine, and like, oh, this is just Fracture, but it's just more the same. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I feel like with this new album, they took Fracture but actually elevated it. Like the riffs are hitting harder, the breakdowns hit harder, the choruses are bigger. Like everything just felt like it was just like had more impact. And that's why I liked it, because my expectations were like, okay, this is just going to be more Bleed from Within. And then the first 5 songs, I'm like, oh, adding this to the playlist, adding this to the playlist, adding this to the playlist. Like there were so many rippers. I enjoyed that record more than Thornhill, even though I like Thornhill more for their experimentation, what they're doing for the scene. But I just have more fun with Bleed from Within.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. I had like a little intro to the video where I was kind of like, I believe this band uses, because I've seen some thumbnails and shit with like the bagpipes, and I was like, I feel like without having heard anything with bagpipes in it before, metal related, it's such a fucking good instrument to use in metal music. It's like the violin, it just goes hand in hand. I was just thinking about it, so I was like, okay, hopefully this album is just scattered with like bagpipe moments. And when they fucking nailed it in Zenith, it was fucking insane. Like I literally was screaming out like, "Where's me fucking haggis?" Like I was doing all sorts of shit. Like I was just like every Scottish stereotype you can think of, I was screaming it out. And that was sick. But then they only did it once. They only included the bagpipes once, I think, throughout the whole album, which was on Zenith, which I was so shocked by.
It's not Zenith, like that's the album.
No, the title track Zenith is number 3.
In Place to Your Halo, that's where the bagpipe breakdown is.
Okay,
it's in the music video.
Yes. Right, dude. I haven't seen the music video yet, but I just heard it and I wasn't expecting it to be there. And I was hoping it would be there, but I didn't actually know they were going to do it really. And then they did it in that, and it was as amazing as I anticipated. But then it just like, I was like, when's the next bagpipe moment going to happen? And then just no more bagpipes. Sadness.
I know. It's like Imminence if they only had one song with violin.
That's what I said. I was like, Imminence, if you strip back the violin, obviously Eddie is fantastic vocally, so I'm sure they'd find a way to make phenomenal music, but it does really separate them from just being another metalcore band. And I was like, Bleed from Within have this tool that is, I guess, somewhat gimmicky because they're from Scotland and they could just be seen as like, oh, the Scottish band. It's like me with a fucking leprechaun behind me. It's like, come on, it's like something like that. It's too obvious of a stereotype to use. but it works so well.
I would say lean into it if I was like their manager or something.
They should own that and use it so much more often. It's fucking unbelievable. So epic.
Yeah.
Well, that's got me a little bit intrigued.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll add it to my to-do list. But don't worry,
Ever
Bert.
growing.
It's lower on the to-do list than the Loathe album. Like I'm going to get to that.
Well, I seen a comment where you said that Thornhill's new album is higher than Loathe on your priority list. I was about to fucking break
It
my
is because
phone.
that's new. Loathe is not a new. I have to get into the new stuff, don't I?
I agree.
What are you fucking doing to us here, man?
Yeah.
Like, I am speaking on behalf of the people here, okay? I know you're watching and also annoyed with Steve. We're doing everything here. We're doing, it's like trying to draw blood from a fucking stone at this point. Like, Steve.
Yeah, Steve,
This
what
is
are you doing?
intervention
Just do
time,
Loathe.
okay? Steve, okay, look, when is your next, I'm going to put this on you. When is your next scheduled album review time? What day?
I'm planning on trying to do one tomorrow, and
And is it going to be the Thornhill album?
That's the plan.
Well,
Loathe.
your plans have just changed, sir. Loathe, I let it in the tape.
Yeah.
You know what? You're not even going to like the album. That's what's so annoying about this.
It's so true. Like, he's just going to say, like,
Not
not for me. But, like, I can appreciate it.
But I still, it's not even about liking it. I just want to see, after all this edging, what you're going to think about it. That's it. Steve, continue.
So I'm doing that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll do it tomorrow.
Thank you very much for that, Steve.
I agree. I think everyone, it's funny because like you shared with us your Mirar reaction. I'm just like, no, Loathe. What do you?
Yeah. There's some things that just need to be put on the back burner for a bit when Loathe is.
Well, we can pivot to that because Loathe is playing a new song live, which is huge news. They're also playing shows with like Gojira and like Korn. I'm pretty sure Korn, but this band, they're going to drop stuff. They're going to get a lot of hype too. Just like not as big as Sleep Token, but like in the metalcore scene, like there's a lot of hype for.
Well, it's been years since they released something, right? So
and
anticipation's high.
And again, people hold I Let It In to such high standards or pedigree or whatever that
I wouldn't know, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is like if we're like blowing it up this much, maybe we should just say the album's crap. You're not going to like it, but just do it so you can say it's not for me, and then we can move on.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. It's like, we just need. It's like we need the confirmation. It's like when a girl is like leading you on a bit. It's like, just tell me to fuck off. You know what I mean? It's like, just do it. You know, let's get this over with. Just rip the Band-Aid off. But yeah, just.
Who hurt you, Drew?
Steve hurt me. Steve did.
Well, I'll check that out tomorrow. At the time of this recording, it'll be tomorrow.
Peer pressure.
I don't know when that'll get on the channel, but I'll check it out tomorrow. You know, I'll probably put on Patreon for a bit, just to really tease it out. I'll check that out tomorrow.
The last bit out of it, just like there he is. This Loathe out. Someone meme that, please, of like Steve wringing a T-shirt out, and it's just Loathe. I don't know how that would work, but yeah.
But speaking of tomorrow, it's already tomorrow here in the UK and in Ireland. It is 12 minutes past midnight.
Oh yes.
I think we're gonna have to call it. I'm my brother has very graciously allowed me to use this space so late. So thank you very much, Paul, for that. Thank you for this episode, for joining us for this one. It was not as expected. I was expecting to not be in my studio, but these things happen. But it's been a delight to chat to you folks about the new releases and things that were not Sleep Token. As much as Drew tried at the start of this episode, we got there in the end.
That was actually why I had my hand up there, but we'll have to save it for another episode.
Wicked. But yeah, if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. We have guests booked in future. They will happen. They'll be fun. But also, these conversations are fun anyway. So do join us by subscribing to the channel and check out our Patreon. There's bonus content over there for you to enjoy as well. Thanks for being here, folks. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peace.